In USV, Ghislaine Maxwell closing AUSA Cites massage table while all slides withheld by Matthew Russell Lee patron song video ruling BBC, decrypt, light read, radio, podcast, SDNY Courthouse, December 20. Ghislaine Maxwell, charged with sex trafficking and other charges, is nearing the end of trial that started on November 29, after the November 23 final pre-trial conference, vlog here. On December 18 in a rare Saturday charging conference, Inner City Press learned a bit more about Maxwell's legal team. Laura Menninger came and left, presumably preparing her closing argument for December 20. On Sunday, December 19, with the draft charge still not in the docket, AUSA Maureen Comey wrote in jointly with Maxwell and her legal team stating that with regard to the closing arguments, the public interest in viewing the parties' presentations is marginal. Inner City Press immediately filed opposition to Judge Nathan, calling this inaccurate and insulting, and asking for unsealing, and a public call-in line. Inner City Press litter here and here. On the morning of December 20, AUSA Alison Moe gave the government's closing argument. Inner City Press live tweeted here, podcast here, 8:30 a.m. live stream here, now USV. Ghislaine Maxwell day of closing arguments begins, after AUSA Maureen Comey Sunday afternoon said public and press should not see the slides in real time. Judge Nathan asks if the exhibits that have been withheld throughout the trial have at least been put in the public docket this morning. No, only on DOJ's USAF's password-protected site, and no defense exhibits in sight. Courtroom confidential. Amid secrecy, lunchtime for jurors is being discussed. Judge Nathan, the government will go straight through then an early lunch. The defense, then rebuttal, charge and deliberations possibly beginning today. A comfort break somewhere in there. Judge Nathan, stay a few minutes away, so Miss Williams can reach you, if the jury has notes or a verdict. Note, Inner City Press immediately filing opposition to withholding of slides and all defense exhibits still not docketed. Judge Nathan, anything else? The box is turned, that is, the speaker's box, so that the public can't see. Note, no problem without confidentiality, privacy of victims, survivors. But they are withholding all slides and demonstratives, and all defense exhibits. And note, SDNY Judge Rakoff, when Inner City Press requested in USV, Weigand-E's, Wirecard case, ordered that all exhibits, US and defense, be put on a public website, not just USAF's. Inner City Press asked Judge Nathan to follow the precedent here, undocketed, while awaiting entry of jury in U.S. argument, noting that yesterday after Inner City Press wrote to Judge Nathan, AUSA Comey and two on defense, suddenly exhibits from much earlier in the case were put onto USAF's, redacted, including Virginia Roberts' school records. There are also Epstein Victims Compensation Fund general releases, one for Annie Farmer and another with name redacted, and a long video Inner City Press is still belatedly downloading. Hide the ball until the last day, then put it up in redacted form. Jury entering, all rise. Ghislaine Maxwell is in a beige sweater today, at defense table with Bobby Sternheim, in front row of gallery, Kevin Maxwell and, yes, Leah Safian. Judge Nathan, we'll break early for lunch, then we'll come back and hear Miss Menninger. Then another break. Rebuttal by the government and instructions from me. Moe, also Moe. Ghislaine Maxwell was dangerous. She targeted a girl whose father had just died. Jane, also Moe. Maxwell ran the same playbook again and again. She groomed them. She caused deep and lasting harm to young girls. It is time to hold her accountable. Maxwell flipping through papers, flipping hair, also Moe. You've heard from law enforcement officers, also Moe. You've seen documents, phone messages, and a little black book with victims' names. This summation is our opportunity to explain who all this evidence fits together. Maxwell is guilty. Today I'm going to talk to you about 8 different reasons she's guilty. Also Moe. First, Maxwell and Epstein were partners. They were in a romantic relationship. Maxwell wrote this document, not show to public or press. Also Moe. Reading from slide not shown to press or public. A couple for 11 years. Great partners. Rarely apart. Best of friends. Does that sound like a personal assistant? Number. Also Moe. When you are with someone for 11 years you know what they like. Epstein liked young girls. Epstein could not have done this alone. A single middle-aged man inviting a girl to a ranch is creepy. That set of alarm balls. Also Maxwell is key. You saw photos how close they were. Let's look at those. Not shown to press or public. Also you are looking at Maxwell and Epstein swimming naked in a pool. Not shown during closing, and otherwise redacted or withheld. Here she is massaging Epstein's feet with her breasts. Also let's talk about the charges. 6 counts. Note, court listener still does not have the jury charge, which was only docketed on Pacer this morning. Note, even now during the closing argument, with all slides and demonstrative withheld, searching in Pacer for the jury charge, doesn't seem it's there. Just a 6-page cover letter. Fail. Okay, Inner City Press has dug to get the jury charge, and puts it, in case some complaint document cloud doesn't work, on Patreon here, and here it is on document cloud. Also beyond the law and venue, let me respond to what the defense has said. In their opening, Maxwell's counsel said Maxwell is being blamed for something a man did, but she made her own choices. Also this case is about manipulating young girls, and the case was about money. Caroline got a few $100. Maxwell got $30 million. Also this trial was also about memory. You heard about trauma. They argue Maxwell was too busy to commit these crimes. But Maxwell had personal assistants, and a woman to walk her dog. She ordered sand to be delivered to Epstein's private island. Also their expert Elizabeth Loftus tried to convince people they say Bugs Bunny at Disney World. She admits she is an advocate for the defense. She's made a lot of money. Does not mention Harvey Weinstein, or Robert Durst, etc. Also the payments under the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund are done. The witnesses have no financial stake in the outcome of this trial. They are corroborated by Juana Leslie, Mulligan, and the witnesses called Matt and Sean. Also there is only one conclusion, that Maxwell is guilty and you should convict her. Use your common sense. You will reach the only verdict consistent with the evidence. Maxwell and guilty. Judge Nathan, we're going to take a lunch break. It's 11:16 a.m. Judge Nathan, no discussions about the case. Bobby Sternheim, the massage table coming from California is not enough for interstate commerce. We want a limiting instruction. Eager to record short podcast, but defense keeps arguing, for Mr. Ryle, against invocation of grooming by proxy. And now, AUSA, we showed the listings and the list of masseuses of numbers for mom and dad. Judge Nathan, I deny the motion for a mistrial. How large is Maxwell's legal and other team? Watch this site, and #Maximum Maxwell. On October 29th and again on November 12th, Maxwell and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York filed a flurry of motions in limine, heavily redacted. The government argued that trial exhibits are not public and will be withheld. Inner City Press opposed and opposes the continued secrecy. And CDC op-ed here. On December 16th, after a 3-day hiatus as Judge Nathan went to D.C. seeking to D-Circuit seat, Maxwell's defense began, with her executive assistant Cimerly Espinoza. Inner City Press live tweeted here, 8:45 a.m. live stream here, podcast here. On the afternoon of December 17th, the defense rested, and Ghislaine Maxwell said there was no reason for her to testify because, she said, the government had not proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. After Eva Dubin, Inner City Press live tweeted here, podcast here, midday live stream here. On Saturday, December 18th, Judge Nathan held the charging conference, at which references to the defendant were changed to a more ladylike Miss Maxwell and foreign travel, and the word minor were dropped and replaced. Inner City Press live tweeted here, and below, pre-conference live stream here, podcast here. On December 10th, leading up to the U.S. resting of its case, Annie Farmer was cross-examined, then her ex-boyfriend and mother testified. Inner City Press live tweeted it here, podcast here, stand up, Mac's sister, and circus. Again, where is the press opposition to all this sealing, and the decision maker? Inner City Press is covering the trial, and all that comes before and after it. Court case cast and Song I, Song 2, Song 3, 5th Song, November 27th Song, December 4th Song and December 11th Song. YouTube demonetized it. And December 18th Song. No ads. On October 18 the U.S. Attorney's Office opposed their request, saying that the voir dire questions should be asked by Judge Nathan, and that there should only be sidebars on sensitive questions such as those that relate to sexual abuse and media exposure. Full letter on Patreon here. In a conference on October 21 on the scheduling issues, Judge Nathan denied a request to seal. Inner City Press live tweeted it here. Podcast here. On October 22 the draft jury questionnaire was unsealed and Inner City Press has immediately published it on its document cloud here, including have you or a family member ever supported, lobbied, petitioned, protested, or worked in any other manner for or against any laws, regulations, or organizations relating to sex trafficking, sex crimes against minors, sex abuse or sexual harassment? Photo here. After the death of Jeffrey Epstein in the MCC prison, on July 2 acting U.S. Attorney for the SDNY Audrey Strauss announced and unsealed an indictment of Maxwell on charges including sex trafficking and perjury. Inner City Press went to her press conference at the U.S. Attorney's Office and asked, doesn't charging Maxwell with perjury undercut any ability to use testimony from her against other, bigger wrongdoers? Periscope here at 23:07. Strauss replied that it is not impossible to use a perjurer's testimony, but how often does it work? At 3:30 p.m. on July 2 Maxwell appeared in the U.S. District Court for the District of New Hampshire, before Magistrate Judge Andrea K. Johnston. Inner City Press live tweeted it here. Also live tweeted bail denial of July 14. Here. In the July 3 media coverage of Maxwell, media all of the world used a video and stills from it of Maxwell speaking in front of a blue curtain, like here. What they did not mention is something Inner City Press has been asking the UN about, as under UNSG Antonio Guterres with his own sexual exploitation issues, exclusive video and audio, it got roughed up and banned from the UN. Ghislaine Maxwell had a ghoulish United Nations press conference, under the banner of the Terramar Project, here. On July 5. After some crowdsourcing, Inner City Press reported on another Ghislaine Maxwell use of the United Nations, facilitated by Italy's permanent representative to the UN official Nikhil Seth and Demir Dossal, who also let into the UN and in one case took money from convicted UN briber Aung Lap Seng, and Patrick Ho of SEFC China Energy, also linked to UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. At the Ghislaine Maxwell UN event, the UN Deputy Secretary-General was directly involved. List of some of the participants on Patreon here. Inner City Press has published a phone of Maxwell in the UN with Dossal, here, but the connection runs deeper. Dossal with 25 years of UN involvement was on Terramar's board of directors, one of only 5 directors, only 3 not related to Maxwell by blood and name. The directors, Ghislaine Maxwell, Christine Molina Maxwell, Stephen Haft, Christine Dennis and Amir Dossal. Inner City Press is publishing this full 990 on Patreon here. Dossal has operated through the UN Office of Partnership, with Antonio Guterres and his deputy Amina J. Mohammed, here, and the links to the world of UN bribery, including Antonio Guterres through the Gulbenkian Foundation, runs deeper. More to follow. Antonio Guterres claims he has zero tolerance for sexual exploitation, but covers it up and even participate in it. He should be forced to resign, and or have immunity waived. Terramar has been dissolved, even though Maxwell's former fundraiser, Director of Development Brian Urisides still lists the URL on his protected Twitter profile, also here. But now Inner City Press has begun to inquire into Ghislaine Maxwell's other United Nations connections, starting with this photograph of another day's, or at least another outfit's, presentation in the UN, here. While co-conspirator Antonio Guterres has had Inner City Press banned from any entry into the UN for 2 years and a day, this appears to be in the UN Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, chamber. We'll have more on this, and on Epstein and the UN. Watch this site. The case is US v. Maxwell, 20 CR 330, Nathan. To find out more, please follow the links on screen and in the description. Together, let's make sure justice is served.